everybody, welcome back to a brand new episode of Getting Real with Real Estate here on the Grand Strand. I'm Jason Potter.
And I'm Jennifer Nicely. I cannot wait for you to see our guest today.
Yeah.
He comes with tons of knowledge and experience in our local area of Horry and Georgetown County, and there's tons of questions we have for him.
Oh yes, should we tell him who it is? No.
No, you're gonna have to wait.
No? Okay, we'll make you wait.
You have to wait.
But I tell you what, you're going to love the information that we're going to cover today, and that's what this show's about. It's getting real with real estate. We want to educate you, have a little bit of fun, be that neighbor that everybody starts asking you the questions about real estate. And I know a lot of you watching are new to the area.
Yes.
So we want to educate you on the area, some rules that we may have that you didn't have back from wherever you're from.
That's right. You know, the hot topic, the major word throughout the country right now is HOA.
You can't say that word out loud. It's a curse word. I'm just kidding.
It's kind of like a cuss word. But you may love it, you may hate them, but we're going to talk about the restrictions they may put on your property. And believe it or not, there's other restrictions outside of the HOA. So I'm really excited to talk to him about his experience, his opinions, and some situations he's been in.
Yeah, I want to hear some real life experiences and situations that he's been in with real clients.
Yes.
And you know, folks, we sit here and joke around, but associations are there to protect the interests of the community,
They are.
to help. And I know that sometimes they may not feel that way. So a lot of you have actually written in, and this is a big topic and important to you, which is why instead of just us talking about it, we felt like, why don't we bring in somebody who's experienced in this area, answer some of the hard questions, and I'm really excited for you to take a look here.
I am too. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Since 2013, Rivertown Property Inspections has been conducting home inspections in South and now North Carolina.
At RPI, our clients receive same-day and easy-to-read reports. We also stand behind every home inspection with our 200% satisfaction guarantee and our 90-day guarantee. So give us a call at 843-360-4354 or check us out online at rivertowninspects.com to schedule your inspection.
We are your local and veteran-owned home inspection company.
From day one, their customer service has just set them apart. I felt like family from the moment I stepped in the door.
At Coastal Fasteners and Supply, our customers are more than just a transaction.
No order too small, no order too large. If there's ever an item they don't have in stock, usually they can have it to me within the week.
They are why we have been here for over 45 years.
Quality, just great people.
We are Coastal Fasteners and Supply.
And with free job site delivery, we've got you covered.
All new episodes airing every month on WMBF.
Welcome back. I am here today with Norton Getty, one of the biggest attorneys here in Horry County.
Hi, I'm Norton Getty with McCutcheon, Vaught, Getty, and Hux, your lawyers at the beach.
He has multiple offices, and I am excited about the interview today. So Norton, tell our audience a little bit about you.
Oh, wonderful. Thanks for having me here.
Yes.
I grew up in Mississippi, went to Millsaps College, a little liberal arts college down in Jackson. From there, I went to the best law school that let me in. That was Emory.
That's awesome.
So I spent 4 years in Atlanta and became a huge Braves fan, but couldn't live in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So when I got a job offer on the beach, I'd never lived here before, I thought it'd be a great opportunity, so moved here. And I met my wife here, raised my kids here. I met Wayne Mumford, he's my mentor. He was with McCutcheon, Mumford, Vaught, Getty.
Yep.
And he trained me in real estate.
Nice.
And so I spent, after many years, he is now retired from the firm. I opened our North Myrtle Beach office in 1999.
I was going to ask you.
So I've been doing this since then. And our primary focus of my practice has been real estate since that time. So I've done everything from put a $10,000 equity line on your condo to build a condominium project. We've done development work all over the beach.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's really great. You know a lot about this area, and you said you started in the 90s, right? So you've been here for a while, which makes you an expert to our local area. And I know you've got a lot of stories for us that we want to talk about.
Sure.
But before we get into that, tell me about your different locations.
We have our office in North Myrtle Beach. For 20 years we were on Main Street, and we just outgrew the office. So we are now on 2nd Avenue North in North Myrtle.
Okay.
back toward the waterway in a 3-story building. We've got a nice space there. We have an office on Oleander Drive in Myrtle Beach where we've been since 1989 with the firm, or actually 92. The firm started in 89. And then we have an office down in Litchfield as well, where we do real estate in all 3 offices. We have 3 attorneys who do real estate, myself, Ryan Patterson, and our newest attorney, Allison Black, is an associate working with me in North Myrtle.
Wonderful. So you are covering all angles of Horry County.
A lot of Horry County, especially the Grand Strand.
I love it. Now, for our viewers, tell us about why they would need an attorney for real estate, because I feel that a lot of people think that they only need an attorney for real estate when purchasing or selling, but that's not necessarily the case. There's restrictions on our properties, and one of those restrictions may be HOAs.
Right.
So hit on that for me, because I know you handle a lot of HOA situations.
Absolutely. Our firm handles a lot of HOA work. We represent a lot of HOA developments. But especially when you're buying and selling, though, you really need somebody who's talking to you about what is the nature of the real estate you're buying. Are you in a neighborhood?
Right.
Does it have covenants and restrictions that affect what you're allowed to do on the property?
Right.
Or who can tell you what you can build and what you can't build? This is an advantage to you as a buyer because we always joke, nobody wants an HOA until their neighbor paints their house pink. And then everybody wishes they
Which
had
is a
one.
real story.
Oh yeah, there's a real story. If you've ever driven over the big bridge into Little
That's
River, you
right.
look down to the right, you will see the pink house.
The pink
and
house.
it is a spite paint job. When
Yes.
she originally painted part of it pink, she got pushback from an HOA that claimed to have jurisdiction over. As it turns out, she bought outside the chain of title that was governed by the HOA and was able to win the lawsuit and then proceeded to paint the rest of the house, the driveway, the dock, and everything near it pink.
Yes, the hot water heater, everything.
It's a little bit of a spite paint job, and I mean
Yeah.
that's okay. That's her house. I'm not judging the color, but
Right.
when you're moving into an area, you may want to know if that's an option.
That's
if painting
correct.
your house is pink is really important to you, you want to know you have the right to do it.
That's correct. Or vice versa. If
Or
you're
vice
moving into a
versa.
neighborhood and you don't want your neighbors to paint
Right.
their house pink,
Exactly.
we need to know that there's restrictions in place. So let's talk about the difference between the HOAs, because there can be multiple HOA
Yep.
restrictions and guidelines and people who oversee you.
Absolutely. Some of the neighborhoods in the Grand Strand area actually have subdevelopments within them.
Okay.
So you may be part of Tidewater development and you're subject to their covenants and restrictions. You pay
Right.
HOA dues to them.
That's right.
But if you own in the condominiums in that project, you are also subject to the master deed of the condominium and the HOA that governs it.
Yes.
So your sub-association of the condo, they take care of your roof, the outside of your building,
Right.
things like that. But the master association is the one that takes care of the roads coming in, the guardhouse, the curbs, the lights,
Right,
and
correct.
that sort of thing. So you may have 2 different entities to whom you're paying dues and to whom for whom you're following rules. And it's unfortunate, but every now and then we'll have a closing where the buyer, first time they really hear about the fact there are 2 homeowners associations, is at closing.
Right.
And Wayne Mumford always said, surprises are great on birthdays. They are lousy at closing.
They
we don't
really
wanna,
are.
We don't want to tell anybody anything for the first time when we're sitting down to close
Yes.
their house.
Well, and this is another reason why they need to choose a local attorney and real estate agents to help them through this process so that they
Yeah.
know, hey, you may have 2 HOA fees that you have to pay, 2 HOA guidelines you have to follow,
Right.
and it's not just that one you may have seen advertised.
And I tell people, I don't know everything by any means, but in my little corner of the world in North Myrtle Beach, in my very narrow area of law, real estate, I actually know quite a bit, just
Yeah.
simply by virtue of having done it before.
Correct.
you know?
Experience is
Yeah,
key.
I've been in that neighborhood. I've met with that HOA before.
That's right.
I've seen this issue.
All right, guys, stay right there. We're going to have more after this commercial break.
Experience low country living redefined at Living Dunes. This prime location is just minutes away from everything, including the Grand Dunes Ocean Club, where you will enjoy exclusive beach access. It's all just a golf cart ride away. New construction homes starting in the 400s make Living Dunes a smart choice for those who seek more from their neighborhood. Your ideal life starts here. Visit livingdunes.net for more information or stop in to tour homes for sale.
All new episodes airing every month on WMBF.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us with Getting Real with Real Estate. We're here with Norton Getty. And Norton, I wanted to talk to you about the difference between an attorney state and a title state, because I know we have a lot of transplants that come to the Myrtle Beach area and they may not be familiar with an attorney state versus title.
Absolutely. And if you're coming from another part of the country, it's very likely that your closings in the past have been with a title company.
Yes.
The difference is, in South Carolina, the Supreme Court has determined that the creation and recording of a deed and mortgage is the practice of law. It's a felony for a non-attorney to do it. So that means an attorney has to be involved in the transaction, which is why you're working with somebody like me, as opposed to maybe Chicago Title Company or somebody like that.
Right.
Now, they're still writing the title insurance underneath.
They work with you.
Right. They work
Correct.
with the attorney. The attorney's the one who is reading the title work, checking the contract, conducting the closing. So we have a best practices list of things, minimum list of what we have to do as attorneys being involved. And that includes meeting our clients, reading the title work, going back through the contract to make sure that we're closing what you intended to purchase.
Right.
We prefer it this way. Of course I do. It's what I do for a living. But also, I think you'll find the level of professionalism, I hope, is a good bit higher. The level of detail is a good bit higher as far as what we do in title work. And the Supreme Court's been very consistent on their cases over the years that non-lawyers really can't be conducting closings.
Right.
So first of all, you do it because it's the law. Second of all, you do it because I believe it benefits you. And the studies I've read, and again, I do this for a living, so I might be biased, but the studies I've looked at show the cost difference is really, if anything, it's actually a little higher in title states than it is, title company states, than it is in lawyer states. And so that's why we do it that way.
Well, from a consumer's perspective and an agent's perspective, I'd rather have an attorney looking at all of that. It's one of the biggest purchases of my life or my clients' lives, and you want to make sure that you have expert eyes running through everything.
And as an attorney, I have a title insurance. I write title insurance, but I also have an errors and omissions coverage insurance. So if I make a mistake, the client's covered.
That's right.
Additionally, I have my bar license at stake. I have never met a closing that I'm willing to cash in 20 years experience and 4 years of law school for. It's not worth it.
You have a lot to lose, so you're going to be extra careful.
Whereas a title company, I'm sure they work in good faith. I don't mean to disparage any of them. They just got less on the line.
Right, correct. Well, I love that explanation, and it makes a lot of sense. So I can't wait to keep on with this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Myrtle Beach. When you hear those words, what does it mean to you? To me, it is a place full of wonderful memories, opportunity, growth, a new start. In 2003, my family and I relocated from the Northern Virginia area. Shortly thereafter, I decided what better way to get involved in the community and contribute to its growth than to help individuals with the largest investment they will make in their lifetime. I made the decision to become a realtor. At that time, I did not know that this decision would allow me the opportunity to have such an amazing impact on others' lives, as well as the introduction to so many people who have an impact on mine. My name's Jason Potter, broker in charge and owner of Grand Strand Coastal Realty here in the heart of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I quickly realized that being a real estate professional along the Grand Strand was going to be a far different task than possibly any other. I immediately felt the overwhelming obligation, duty, and importance of these home purchases that individuals were asking us to help them accomplish. Rather than your typical downsizing and upgrade requests,
We are contacted each and every day from people who are ready to pick up everything they love and have grown to know and relocate. This is way bigger than just searching for a new home. It's a lifestyle change. I have found that we are all capable of making any house our home. Home is where our family is, where memories are created. Home is where we have shelter, feel loved, and are comfortable. It is our job as your real estate professional to determine the lifestyle you want to live, whether you are here visiting your second home or relocating completely, and help place you in that area that best fits your needs.
Jason Potter we've known for almost a decade. We bought this home next door. We remodeled a home in Arcadia with Jason's assistance, and we've also bought condos with Jason. Family has also followed us, and working with Jason, we're all tickled to death with what he has brought to us, a beach environment and a way of life that we've come to enjoy.
Myrtle Beach and the entire surrounding area of the Grand Strand is such a dynamic and unique place to live and visit. It offers so many opportunities for a wide variety of people, no matter your budget, goals, or objectives. Whether you are looking to sell your home or acquire property in one of our many different locations, the team at Grand Strand Coastal Realty is here to help you every step of the way.
So are you ready to explore the possibilities?
All new episodes airing every month on WMBF.
Well, clarify this for me and the audience. If there is a community that has multiple sections that has different HOAs, for example, you said Tidewater, let's take Barefoot as another example. Does that automatically make it to where they're paying two different fees? Or is it something that throws up a red flag and they need to look into?
It's not necessarily that you'll be paying two fees. Honestly, that's where you get into the documents, and it's a good opportunity for you and your agent to sit down. Let's talk to the HOA property management company about what are the obligations here, and they should be able and should tell you what those are. They'll certainly tell the seller because they're an owner and they have to tell them.
Correct.
But yes, there are neighborhoods where you're part of you've got another association within a development, but maybe there aren't dues on one of them. Unfortunately, most of the time, there are two sets of dues because there's some cost involved. Anytime you've got property, there's cost involved. There's insurance, there's, even people like, well, what about the street lights? You're paying the electric on the street lights. You're leasing those poles. Curbs, roads, if they're private, they have to be maintained.
Correct.
So, all of that comes into play.
Well, I think HOAs have become kind of a household term lately.
Yes.
You either love them or you hate them, right?
Absolutely.
It's one way or the other. So what I want to bring up is the fact that HOAs are not the only restrictions on a property.
Great point, absolutely. And when you talk about having been in the area a while, this is one of those areas where it becomes, the fact that you have a history working in this area makes a big difference.
Right.
For example, a standard title search, when you order a search on a property, if you do the full search, you're only going back 40 years. Now that's a really long time unless you're my age and you realize that's like 1982. But it will miss a lot of restrictions in neighborhoods that were built prior to that. One of my favorite neighborhoods on the beach, Tillman Estates. I'm a big fan of the way the documents were drafted because I'm that exciting a person. I get into reading these documents. But if you read the documents, they were written in the 1950s. There is no HOA in Tillman Estates, but there's a set of restrictions that limit what you can do with the property. In certain areas, you cannot subdivide. You cannot have commercial property. You have a setback that is 40 feet from the front line. Now, if you go by the city setback, it's 25 feet, but it's 40 feet from the front line in this section of Tillman. And I have had people tell me, well, it doesn't matter, there's no HOA, nobody will enforce it, and that's simply not true.
No, that's not.
This is a well-to-do neighborhood, they're educated, they have attorneys, and they have the money to pay them, and they will enforce them. And there's one house up there, and I won't mention where it is. The gentleman came in and he built a gorgeous flowing double staircase coming into the front of his yard. Unfortunately, he built it within about 30 feet of the front line, which was 10 feet into the setback.
Oh, wow.
When advised of it, he said, I checked with the city, I can do what I want.
Oh, no.
Which was a great theory until he got sued.
Right.
And I was actually called and asked if I would act as an expert witness in that case by the defense. And I said, you got a problem. You don't want me on the stand because I'm going to tell them your client violated the setback.
Correct.
He ended up cutting the stairs off. At my advice to his attorney, I said, your client will be better served hiring a good architect than paying for more lawyers.
Yes,
because you're
correct.
going to lose this.
That's right.
And it's a beautiful house. It just looks a little truncated in the front where there are no stairs.
Right. Well, here's the thing with these deed restrictions and setback lines is that is what makes those neighborhoods desirable.
Absolutely.
So when you have the big 40-foot setback, that's the beautiful,
that's the curb
big
appeal.
lots, the
that's
curb
what everybody
appeal.
wants, is that view coming
yes.
in.
So
what
if you
the house
chalk
looks
it
like.
up into no HOA and we don't have to do anything or follow any guidelines, that's not the case.
Yeah.
It's also on the deeds.
Also, what's on the deed. You know, another example that I give a lot is I had a client of mine who was buying a house on the water, beautiful oceanfront lot, tearing the house, the older house, 1960 beach house, tearing it down, building a very extravagant home there.
Right.
And it was in the Ingram Beach section. And if you read the history of the beach, you're really going to learn it one family at a time, because that's how it was built. The Tillmans, the Ingrams, the Nixons.
Correct.
You know, those are families that I love hearing the histories of. But when Mr. Ingram deeded the land, he deeded it based on a plat, which gave 4 lines on the property.
Right.
It didn't take into account that the ocean accretes sand and the beach gets longer, and the ocean erodes sand and it gets shorter. And so the oceanfront line of that house was still 75 feet away now from the mean high tide line that you can own to.
Right.
Not a big deal because you couldn't build on that area anyway, except my client wanted to put in a pool and a pool house. They would have gone into the city setbacks. He wasn't going to be allowed to build them.
Right.
But if you know the Ingram history and you know that it went through 2 different trusts for the Ingrams, and you know where those trustees are, and you can prove that, look, Mr. Ingram, when he developed it in 1937, really intended to give all of the land.
Right.
You can get the land deeded over, which I did. It ended up with my client getting the right to build what he wanted, where he wanted, and you know, added an enormous amount of value to the lot as a result.
Nice.
You know, I'm not patting myself on the back. It's just a result of having been here, knowing the area,
knowing the story,
and
knowing the guidelines and how to work it.
And having a client who's smart enough to know they want to do it and they want to do it right.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Well, Norton, this has been an absolute pleasure. I love your stories. We could sit here forever and hear everything you have to say. If anyone can reach you, what would be the best way to reach you?
You can go to our webpage, lawyersatthebeach.com. You can give us a call. Our phone number at our North Myrtle Beach office, 843-281-9831.
Wonderful. Norton, thank you for being
here with me today. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Let's go.
No one should go hungry, yet hundreds in Myrtle Beach go hungry every day. Your donation at tchurch.online/give will help fulfill our mission to feed those in need. The Tabernacle Church Food Bank in Surfside. Together, we can end hunger.
All new episodes airing every month on WMBF.
Jennifer, another great episode. We did it.
Incredible episode.
Yes.
Norton was amazing.
Yeah, he was.
He has so much information. And I know off camera and on camera, we were able to just talk and talk and talk.
Yes.
And him and I, we have self-declared ourselves as geeks.
Yes.
Of loving these topics. So I was thrilled to be able to interview him today.
You could feel the passion, you know, and off camera there, I kind of just wanted to keep talking to him.
Yes.
Right? Keep asking him those questions, find out some advice.
Right.
As brokers, we're always looking to get better. And he's been around for a while. He knows what's happened. He knows this area. And that was something that he said, that he pointed out, that I'd like to remind our viewers. It's important to sometimes go with somebody who's familiar with the area.
That's right.
Because you can study all the books and research all you want, but until you've lived here and you really know some of the people in town, it's about relationships, some of the restrictions, there's a lot of value there.
There is a lot. And you know, there's something else about Norton. He's very passionate about these topics, these scenarios, and working through and getting that homeowner what their end goal is, but legally doing that.
Yes.
And only with that experience and knowledge can someone like that make it happen.
That's
but,
right.
you know, someone I want to work for me, I want them to be passionate about my project also.
That's really good that you brought that up. You know, when you're buying real estate and you hire a real estate attorney, because it is the law here in South Carolina, 99% of the time it goes just fine.
Yes.
Attorney comes in and helps you close, and you're on your way to home ownership. But there is that small percentage of times that things don't go as planned. And that's life, isn't it? And you want somebody in your corner that's going to be able to advise you properly, your best interest, and handle the situation professionally.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Be an advocate.
That's exactly right.
Be an advocate for you. So I'm glad he came on today.
Yep.
I hope you're happy with the information that we provided, because it was a lot. It was a thick topic today. And so if you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out to Norton or either one of us, and we will help guide you to get those answers.
You know, this is not our show, this is your show. We want to answer your questions and bring up really hot topics that you want us to discuss. Today was one of them. It's a great example of that, so keep writing in. Thank you so much for all of your support. I'm Jason Potter.
And I'm Jennifer Nicely.
See you next time.